Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my Cerebralites. It's me, the Cerebral Diva, and I'm back with another episode of In the Loop. And in today's episode of In the Loop, we're going to talk about a excessive force / police brutality case out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, involving Philando Castile, as well as Jeronimo Yanez. But before we go another further, if you'd be so kind as to do yourself a favor and do me a solid, take a second to hit that subscribe button, and once you've done that, take another second to hit that tiny little bell to turn on your alerts, and that way you will be kept in the loop. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's talk about exactly what we're here to talk about. And that is, well, most of you probably remember this case. It happened maybe a year and change ago. Philando Castile was the licensed gun owner out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, or St. Anthony, Minnesota, I believe is where the case actually took place, who was shot. And his girlfriend actually had the presence of mind in that moment to actually go live on Facebook and stream the event so that all the world could get an inside view, so we could be in the moment of exactly what police brutality looks like. And we saw Philando's last moments of life as he was struggling to breathe, and ultimately he succumbed to his injuries. And for the most part, when we saw that video happening, a lot of us, myself included, thought, finally, there's no possible way that this can be denied, because they spend every time there is a case of police brutality or excessive force, they find some way to spin it. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he was non-compliant. Oh, so finally when Diamond, I believe that's her name, had the presence of mind to actually turn on her phone and record the incident live, and not just record it, but to stream it. I was so excited, because not excited about the fact that someone passed away, but excited about the fact that this was going to be a case where it was undeniable. Black people have been complaining about excessive force and police brutality in perpetuity. And, every time that there's a incident of police brutality, they immediately start to assassinate the person's character, or they immediately start to spin it in a way that is just complete and total fabrication, where any person in their logical mind with clear vision can see that what they're trying to make it out to be is not what it is. So Philando was licensed. He did everything right. But the officer, who for whatever reason overreacted in the moment, and that's the best possible scenario, that he overreacted, that it wasn't necessarily a case of prejudice, but it was a case of fear. And maybe it was tinged with prejudice, because maybe he was fearful because the man happened to be black. But in any case, if you're that fearful to the point that you're shooting people for no rhyme or reason, even when they let you know that they have a gun on their person and he's a licensed gun owner, and you shoot that person, then maybe you shouldn't be a police officer. Maybe you should be a Walmart greeter. Do something else that is less fearful for you. So we saw this case happen in real time for the most part, and we watched that video over, and it was like a piece of the most compelling video that we've ever seen. And I remember watching that video with my hands cupped over my mouth, just incredulous in that moment, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. It was so terrifying. It made me sad. It made me angry. There were so many emotions connected to that video that I felt just as a bystander, just as a voyeur, if you will. I can't even begin to imagine what the family must feel to actually watch your loved one being slaughtered senselessly on film by a police officer. Now, to not only have him die on film, but to have him die senselessly, and to not have any legal recourse. Hopefully they will. Maybe they can actually file some sort of civil suit against the officer. But today, word came out that the officer was found not guilty. And I don't know how this could possibly happen. I don't know what these jurors are thinking. I don't know how you can't see the fact that this man was killed for absolutely no rhyme or reason, and this officer is the culprit. You have video evidence of everything that actually occurred. You have firsthand testimony from the woman who was in the car, his girlfriend. You have every single component that you need to get a guilty verdict. And once again, the officer walks away unscathed. And it's so frustrating to me because, you know, right now America is in a very dark place. There's a clear line going down the middle. You know what I mean? There's a gray line. There's black on this side. There's white on this side. It's not even black on this side. There's black, LGBT, women, Mexican. You know, everything is on one side, and then there's, you know, sort of Donald Trump and his supporters on the opposite side. And that divide seems to be growing greater and greater with each passing day. And when you see these officers who walk away and they with impunity, you know, there's no punishment whatsoever. When you see these officers killed senselessly with impunity over and over and over again, it doesn't give me much optimism for a healing place to start, because what that does is that really angers. Not only does it anger, it galvanizes those who are sort of a more radical ideology, of a more radical thought process, to say, well, if you say fuck you to my life, I say fuck you to your life. You know, it's that whole eye for an eye mentality. And if you think back to like a week or two ago, when people, the whole country for the most part, people were just up in arms about this picture that Kathy Griffin took holding this bloodied Donald Trump head, inferring decapitation. People were just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's so vulgar. It's so, you know, traumatizing. Barron can't sleep. And, you know, Barron's, you know, he's terrified. You know, imagine what Philando Castile's family is going through. Imagine the terror that they live with. You know, don't talk to me about a fucking Kathy Griffin satirical picture when we as black people have to deal every single day with black men, black women, black children, you know, i.e. Tamir Rice, being killed senselessly in the streets, and our pain, for whatever reason, it's supposed to be nullified. Like, we're not supposed to be in tune with that. But for some reason, if Donald Trump is bothered by this picture that Kathy Griffin didn't even release, you know, for some reason that pain is real. People can connect to that pain, but black people have no right to pain. We're supposed to suffer in silence, to be obsequious, and to be compliant. And it's just so frustrating that we live in a country that doesn't seem to understand that, you know, the pain that black people feel is real. And when you see things that played out like a year ago in Dallas, or however long ago that was in Dallas, stuff like that is going to continue to happen in this country until we understand that, you know, you can't just be in tune to your pain and discount the pain of others. You have to understand that everyone's pain, everyone's suffering is real. And I mean, shout out to the Castile family. You know, I mean, his mom has to be like just, and shout out to Diamond once again, who took that video. You know, when I saw that video, it gives me chills even in this moment to think about how strong she had to be to have the wherewithal in that moment to say, you know, I'm not going to just sit here and be a victim. I'm not going to just sit here and be and be subjugated. I'm going to use the tools that I have at my disposal to make sure that regardless as to what happens this evening, someone knows what happened to me. She had the presence of mind in that moment. That is such a powerful awareness, because most of us would have been terrified, myself included. If I heard shots going off just inches away from me, you know, I don't know where the hell my phone would have been. But this girl was, I mean, she was stoic in that moment. She pulled out her phone, she recorded, she was calm. The way she interacted with the officer, I'm like, this girl is a G. And I could not believe how strong she was. And Philando's mother, how strong she has to be as a mother to not only lose a son, but have to suffer through not having justice for that loss. I'm going to stop here because it angers me so bad, you guys. It just really frustrates me. It's just one of those things that just really hits me at my core, that the fact that people just don't get it. They don't understand that this pain is real and that we cannot keep. I don't want to hear this bullshit about, well, black people kill black people. Well, white people kill white people. People kill people. But the difference is those people, for the most part, are held accountable. You know, our tax dollars don't go to pay other people to kill us. We pay for police officers. Our tax dollars go to support them. So we have a right to expect to be protected and not to be killed. We shouldn't have to be afraid of police officers. It's just, I have to stop. So I'm going to stop here. Whew. As always, in closing, you guys, remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Remember, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. And as always, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I will talk to you guys after I've calmed down. Have a great day.